Hey y'all, it's Liz and I'm back in with another video. Thank you so much for clicking and watching and joining me today. So as you can see, I'm starting this video a little bit different. So no foundation on, I got my headband on. These are all signs of a foundation review. Yes, I'm so excited about this foundation that we're about to review. It is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. If you have not heard of this foundation, you've probably been living under a rock. Sorry to tell you. This foundation is super popular right now. It's supposed to be advertised as a beautiful, radiant, luminescent kind of foundation, which is right up my alley. I definitely wanted to try it out myself, especially considering that they just added some more shades to their foundation line. So Nars is known for being very inclusive, having a wide range of foundations. I've kind of strayed away from Nars just because I had never been able to find a shade that really matches me in their foundation lines. So when I found out that they added some more shades, I was really excited and just optimistic that I would find a shade that would work. As of recently, I've really just been trying to really understand my skin and just get a better idea of what my skin tone really is, you know, my undertones and whatnot. And just with a little bit of trial and error, I'm beginning to see that I really carry a lot of like yellow undertones, maybe even caramel undertones. The shade that I did pick up though is Caledonia. That is one of the new shades that they added to their foundation range. Caledonia is actually described as dark with golden olive undertones, which is kind of ironic because like I did say, I do want to kind of stay within the yellow undertone kind of lane. But after trying Caledonia just on the side of my face, it looked really nice. It looked a lot warmer than I anticipated, especially considering that is an olive undertone foundation. But regardless, I just want to see how it wears all over and just see how the foundation wears in general, longevity and all that jazz. So before I pull you in closer to get into this foundation review, I'm going to remind you to subscribe if you have not already. Go ahead and support your girl, and of course subscribe so you'll be in the know when I upload more content. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe and join the team. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of this video. So before we actually apply this foundation, we're going to apply some primer first. So this is the True Complexion Shine Control Primer by Nars Radiant. So I really just wanted to keep my routine the same and just pretty much do the same things I usually do in my foundation routine. You know, I just really wanted to keep the foundation, you know, the independent variable today. Like I wanted that to be the only change just so that we could see if that was what was really making the difference, or you know, if something messes up, we just automatically know that that's probably the foundation that's, you know, the main cause. So just blending that all in. So let's just go ahead and open this up. So if you've used Nars before, you're probably familiar with this kind of packaging. It's really sleek and just very sophisticated, very typical of Nars. The bottle is pretty shiny, I guess, just to align with that whole radiant theme and glowy theme. So I'm really just excited to try this out. I'm gonna go ahead and just do like, let's just do one pump of that and just see how that works. So we're going to apply this foundation in two ways. I'm actually going to use my Real Techniques beauty sponge, and I'm going to use like a more traditional like makeup brush as well. Typically when I apply my foundation, I do use beauty sponges, but I also want to use a makeup brush just because sometimes when I am rushing, I just grab a brush, and I do know that some people also use brushes as well. So I thought it'd be good to incorporate that so that you'd be able to see how the foundation performs with a brush as well. So I'm just going to warm this up with my finger, and I'm just going to dot this on my face actually. So I'm going to go ahead and just blend this out with my beauty sponge. Let's just see. Honestly, like my first thoughts is I'm so impressed at how full coverage this is. I don't know why, I just really expected it to be a little bit more on the sheer side. Wow. And of course the finish is really, really beautiful. I'm shook. Y'all, the finish is so nice. Do y'all see that? Like, do you see like the glow? Do you see the radiance like just really peeking through? Yes, I am all for this. This is so nice. And again, it really didn't take a lot to do that, to really like get me right. It feels nice. I want to see how it'll feel when it dries down, or how it looks when it'll dry down. But this is really, really, really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply another pump to the other side of my face, and of course I'm going to do that with a brush. So to blend this side out, I'm just going to be using my e.l.f. foundation brush. It's just like a rounded kabuki brush. It's just what I typically use when I blend out my foundation, and that's also blending really well with the brush. This is really nice. I really like this, guys. Like, wow. this side kind of has a little bit more luminosity and more than this side that I applied with the brush. Again, probably can't really pick it up on camera, but it's definitely something I'm seeing in the mirror. That's what, you know, that's the point of beauty sponges, just to add that luminosity to your foundation. So it's definitely adding a bit more of that to this side as opposed to this side. So again, that's just something that I just wanted to note. But I do think it applies beautifully regardless using both tools. So it's really, really nice. So also, like, another thing I'm noticing is the color. It doesn't look too bad. Like, compared to my chest, it is like lighter for sure, but that's usually the problem with foundations, is just trying to get something that will match you all the way through. But just with that being said, I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the concealer, just to see if that will balance it all out. I still think it looks like a really beautiful foundation. It's just a really beautiful finish and everything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do my eyes, and then I'll come back on and finish the rest of the face. Okay, so don't worry about the hair, okay, because that's not what we're focusing on right now. I guarantee we'll get it back together very soon, but I just need it out of my face so we can continue this foundation review. Just after the foundation has been sitting for a little while, it still looks fabulous, still looks beautiful, still really radiant, but it definitely feels like something you want to set. Like, I would not set this at all. So I do have the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer on hand, but I did still want to use the LA Girl Pro Concealer because I know that is what I use more on a daily basis, and I felt like it would be a little bit redundant to use NARS foundation and NARS concealer on top of that, because I feel like they're designed to work hand in hand, and I feel like that wouldn't give you a chance to really see how the foundation performs, just because everything is formulated together. Like, it ought to work, it ought to look good, but I wanted to see how it would look with maybe a LA Girl Pro Concealer. Like, can it still perform well? Like, can I use high end and low end, you know? When on a daily basis, I'm not going to be using like high end makeup products. Sometimes I'm going to be using, you know, something drugstore. So I wanted to see how like it would all work together, and see if you could still be able to pair some of your favorite concealers with this foundation and see if it still performs pretty well. So I'm just going to go in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer in Fawn. I'm just going to be blending that all over. So as you can see, that blended out really nicely. It's still giving me that glow, that beautiful finish that we originally saw when we first applied the foundation. It looks really, really, really good. I really, really like this. Like, it looks so pretty. I'm gonna go straight into concealer. I'm actually using the contour stick by Black Radiance. It's in the shade 8003. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this out. Okay. So that is really nice. I'm actually just going to go ahead and set that concealer with our Sacha Buttercup powder. Y'all know that this powder is obviously really yellow, so I wanted to opt to use that instead of a translucent option, just because I really want to keep the yellow that we could potentially be missing, just because, like I said, this foundation is considered an olivey tone. I'm being careful not to apply too much of this because I don't want to lose the radiance of the foundation, but at the same time I don't want to be oily. So one thing that I actually noticed before I even put on my concealer and whatnot, I noticed that my smile lines haven't started settling. When I usually apply my foundation, it doesn't take long before that starts to settle in, so that's really cool. Like, that has not happen, and I just want to see if that continues on throughout the day. These stray hairs don't want to see me prosper. Okay, so I've done the rest of my face, I took down my hair, everything is set. So as for first impressions, this foundation is good. Like, right off the bat, just after applying it right out of the bottle, it looked great. The finish looked great. It blended out nicely. Y'all saw me put on the rest of my face and I thought it looked really good. The concealers blended nicely. The powders blended nicely. Like, this is a really good foundation. I'm looking at it in the mirror, and even though I've put on, you know, powder underneath my eyes, and I put on, you know, powder to set, you know, my contour and things like that. There's just powder everywhere. I still look radiant. I think that that radiance is still peeking through, that glow is still peeking through. I know that I don't have like acne marks or anything like that to cover, but I do have like dark marks here and there that I want my foundation to cover when I use it, and it did that like with just one pump. It was fine. I am really impressed. I don't know, like this is a really good foundation. So I'm looking at the website, and it's not necessarily advertised as a full coverage foundation or anything, but what they really emphasize is the Longwear. It's supposed to be considered Longwear, it's supposed to be strong wear. And like I said, it does feel pretty full coverage. And what I like about it is that even though it did act as a full coverage foundation, it doesn't feel like a full coverage foundation. It's definitely light. It doesn't feel like I'm really wearing anything. Like if I didn't have any lipstick on, for example, I would just kind of feel like it just feels like my skin. Like it really feels so comfortable. I wouldn't consider myself a very oily girl, but by the end of the day I am oily, so I want to see how that will hold up. I also want to see about my smile lines. Right now I don't see any kind of smile lines. Nothing has set into those smile lines, and I smile a lot, so far so good. I want to see how that will hold up as well. So the price is $49. It goes for $49 on Sephora, and you know, that's definitely a little bit on the higher end of foundations. I'm the girl that loves drugstore foundations and expensive foundations. So do I think that this foundation is worth that price? Thus far, yes. If you're in the market for a more high-end foundation, something that won't disappoint, I really recommend this foundation. Like so far it's really good. I would spend the $50 again. Not so often though, I'm not gonna lie, and this is not gonna be something I'm gonna be repurchasing very often, so I will probably only break this out for maybe special occasions. So I did apply this foundation. I didn't check the time, but I did send a text. According to my text, it looks like I put this foundation on at around 2:53. So I am going to just keep this on for a few more hours and just see how it wears. So I'm just gonna be continuing on throughout my day, and I will check back in with y'all a little bit later in the night. So it is 10:43. Look at it so you know it's real. It has been on for a little while now. So I just came home from, you know, a little bit of gallivanting. I'm looking at the viewfinder. The camera can't really pick it up as well, which is great. Maybe it's just the quality of the camera, I don't know. But I'm looking in the mirror and I do see a little bit of shine in my T-zone area. But to be honest, it's not that big of a deal. Just because I was trying to test out this foundation, test out the longevity of the foundation, I didn't blot how I typically do throughout the day, maybe even add a little powder. I just wanted to see how this foundation wore over the course of the evening. If this was any day-to-day day, I would definitely have put on some powder, blot maybe with a napkin, a tissue, something like that, just to reduce some of that shine. So also considering that it is advertised to be a radiant foundation, I would expect a little bit of shine and a little bit of oil by the end of the day. I still stand by my opinion that this is a great foundation and definitely worth the price, especially if you're a girl like me who isn't trying to buy a $50 foundation every other week. I definitely try to, you know, save my coin. I definitely don't have that kind of extra money to be spending on just higher end foundations. So when I put down that kind of money, I want it to be good. And I definitely think this is a good foundation that is definitely worth that $50 price tag. So yeah, so it looks like my camera battery is about to clock out on me, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. Please go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe, and definitely check out some of my recent uploads, and I'll see you guys in my next video.